Do you have a job that you find yourself dreading? Well, before you call it quits, let's talk about the advantages of having a job. Because I've learned that if we can see a job in the right light, it's actually an incredible experience that can make your life a lot better. Hey guys, it's Anita, and this video is about the 7 advantages of having a job. I never thought I would say this, but I actually love having a job. I want to share some context for this video and why I'm doing it. I actually used to feel sorry for people who had jobs. I went to a business school where everyone was just clawing for the best job. And while I was in university, I had traveled the world, I'd spent time in Africa and Europe, and I just discovered people who weren't interested in the rat race or climbing the corporate ladder. And they seemed to have this life in them, this joy for living and this desire to just be fully alive that I didn't see in the people that seemed to be chasing jobs back home in Canada. It's been a number of years for me of really healing this wound and maturing in my perspective and learning to see that work is a part of life and work is a beautiful thing, whether that's working for another company or working for yourself. And as life would have it, I spent a couple of years being an entrepreneur, doing my own thing, and right now I'm based back in Toronto and I'm working a job. And when I first had the feeling that I was going to be working for a company for a season, I was afraid that I would get crushed by the machine and, would lose all of my freedom, all of my time, all of my soul. But I've actually ended up in 2 jobs that are both with creative companies that allow me to do work that I love. Now, I know that not everyone is going to be this fortunate to end up in a job that they actually love, but there are still disadvantages to my jobs. And just like everyone else, I have bad days and days that aren't as productive, and days where it doesn't feel like things are going right. But our attitude matters even more than our circumstances. If you have the right attitude about your work, you can turn a situation that looks like it's terrible. You can actually turn that situation into something that works to your advantage. And ultimately, that's what life is about. It's not just about escaping situations that we don't like, but it's about creating better situations for ourselves and for others. So let's talk about the 7 advantages of having a job. Advantage number 1, you are getting paid to get work experience. Even if you're not working in an industry that you want to be working in one day, you're still getting some kind of work experience. You're learning how to work with a manager, you're learning how the processes and systems of this company make it run. You're learning all kinds of intangible soft skills, even working with other people. So don't waste those opportunities and let yourself be grateful for the fact that you are actually getting paid to learn and get this work experience. Do you remember what it was like to be a student and to do fake work and feel like it was useless? Maybe you didn't feel that way, but I did. I remember getting these assignments and being like, why am I spending 20 hours on this and I'm not even getting paid, and all I'm gonna get at the end of this is a mark, and that doesn't even matter after university. Now, there is value in school if that's what you're in as well, but just if you actually get work and you're getting paid for it, like there's so much goodness in that, and that in itself is already an accomplishment. So there are a lot of people that wish they were in your situation and getting paid to get some kind of work experience. So don't let yourself look down on your work experience, and don't let yourself develop a bad attitude about your work. Advantage number 2, let's just get this straight. You are getting paid. There is money going into your bank account for the time and energy you're putting in. There are a lot of people in the world who wish they were in your situation. You will make more money working 1 month of full-time in a first world country than some people might make in their entire lives. One of the things that travel has really ingrained in me and just made me a better person for is the recognition that I am so blessed to be Canadian, to be born in a first world country, and just to know how to work this system. Is our system and our society perfect? No, of course not. But the fact is that we have opportunities. You can move jobs if you wanted. You know, you can go to school and change careers if you wanted. There are a lot of people in this world who don't even have that kind of opportunity. They're just trying to put food in their mouths. So never let yourself lose that perspective that like, we're so blessed here. Advantage number 3, you have this space to learn. When I was an entrepreneur, one of the things that I struggled with most was the feeling that I needed to make things happen as fast as I could so I could have income and revenue and make things work. And a big blessing I've found in a job is that I have the space to learn. I don't need to figure out how to make money like today, because I am making money today just by showing up to work and putting in the best effort that I can. So know that if you have a job, you have the mental space, you have the physical space, potentially if you have a really nice office, you have sort of the social space to learn. You're going to connect with other people, other business professionals. You also have like the soul space, because if you have a job, chances are that your company doesn't want you to quit because they already put in the time and energy to hire you. They'd like for you to stay at least a little while so that the training that they invest in you isn't wasted. So don't waste the fact that you have this space. I think that I spent a lot of time looking at past jobs when I was younger, being like, I just want this to be over so that I can move on to other things. But now that I'm in a career that I actually love and enjoy, and I no longer need to like stress out constantly about trying to make the business work. There are other people whose jobs it is to figure out the business. My job is to do my job well, and I do have the space to learn new programs. I've been able to hone my video editing skills and photo editing skills and web design, all these things at my job. It's actually such a blessing to not feel rushed. Now, you might be in a job that is extremely high pressure where you don't feel like you have the space to learn either. But I really encourage you to, if you don't have the space during the hours that you're at work, take time afterwards to pause and to reflect and to get the right perspective on your job. Instead of trying to figure out everything right now, give yourself like 3 to 5 years and then imagine what you could learn in that time, knowing that you have the space to grow in this job. Advantage number 4, you have a space to practice your craft. If you're fortunate enough to be working in a job that is even marginally related to what you want to do, take advantage of it, get good at it. And if there are opportunities to expand in your role, take on new projects and just do it again and again and again and again. In my jobs right now, there are things that I do that I love and things that are like a second priority for me. Like I love making videos, and web design I can do, but it's a little lower on my personal priority list. However, I have to and I get to do both. So I just take advantage of the fact that I can, and whenever there are video projects, I try to take on more. And when there's web design stuff, I just learn it anyway, because in the end, there are elements of every job and every task that are just going to help you in the future. Someone is paying you to practice your craft. In school, we had to pay someone in order for us to get to practice our craft. You had to pay someone in order to build a portfolio. Now, if you're working in a job, you have the opportunity to build your portfolio and get paid for it. You might get to do it while you're in your job, but you might have to do it outside of your job. But the fact is that you are going to be putting in hours every week doing something, getting better at something. So you might as well do it intentionally. Advantage number 5, you get to learn how to work with people. Even if you find yourself working with difficult people, consider it a blessing, because we're all going to have to work with difficult people at some point in our lives. And maybe some people think you're the difficult person, or I'm the difficult person. But the fact is that this is a soft skill that is very important no matter what you want to do in life. So use it. Learn how to be patient, learn how to be assertive, learn how to be kind, and learn how to work with people of different styles. Learn how to communicate. This is one of the most important things that makes a leader. Leaders know how to communicate with their people in a way that it inspires them, motivates them, uplifts them, and gets the objective done. As a former solo entrepreneur, one of the things I missed was getting to work with people and learning how to do bigger projects that involved more people. Now I get to learn that. So wherever you're at right now, even if you're only working with one person, use that to your advantage and keep growing. The more you build your people skills, the farther you will go. Advantage number 6, you are allowed to mess up. Now, I don't mean that you should mess up, but give yourself grace when you do mess up, because in a job, the reality is that people will mess up. Your boss will mess up, your coworkers will mess up, even CEOs mess up. But a job is a space where you get to grow and to learn with all of these people. It's a space to learn to be humble and to apologize. In North American culture, we're such a performance-driven culture that sometimes we forget that we're allowed to mess up. And as a solo entrepreneur, I put so much pressure on myself to perform all the time that I really couldn't handle. And so it's actually been such a blessing for me to tone down my stress levels and be like, I'm allowed to not get it right. I'm allowed to ask for multiple cycles of approval so that I can get it right, even if it takes longer. And I'm also allowed to give other people on my team a grace to know that some things, if we want to do them well, they just take more time. So give yourself that grace too, knowing that if you've messed up and that's what's made you hate your job, that's okay. That's actually what a job is for. It's so that you can learn how to do better and you can help your company perform even better. Advantage number 7, you are valuable. And every day you show up to work, I want you to remember that you are valuable. Someone has chosen you and they've chosen to invest in you in order to help this company grow. No matter what your role is, I want you to always remember this perspective. In the end, when you leave this job, if you leave it one day, or you might just grow in the company, you are going to take all the skills and the relationships, everything that has been invested in you from this company, you get to keep that with you. Now, if you're in a job that you've really been hating, you probably feel like, well, I'm not even valuable to this, people don't care about me. But it's not up to other people to decide that you are valuable. It's up to you to look into your heart and to realize that you have skills, you have abilities, you have capabilities that you need, that you are responsible for growing into. My bonus advantage to having a job is the routine. I'm gonna make a whole separate video on the joys and the blessing of the routine of having a job and how to use that to your advantage. But first, I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the advantages that you've found to having a job? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. And I invite you to just use this space as an opportunity to challenge yourself to get out of a complaining mentality and into one that just is always ready to look at the advantage and the glass half full and the positive side of every life situation. Because in the end, the people who get far, the people who are inspiring, and I know that you are inspiring, you have the ability to be an inspiring person. They don't always get the best situation handed to them, but they definitely make the most of it, and they use it to their advantage to make the world a better place. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, let me know in the comments below. Be sure to follow me over on Instagram too, where I share a lot of my photography, creativity, and writing. And I'll see you guys soon.